Let me see. All right, I think I'm in two places. I might have messed this up, but it's all good. Shalom, what's popping? What's goody? Y'all can hear me well? Okay. Mic check, mic check, mic check. So I think I'm in two places. I wanted to be in one place, but it's all good. We're gonna be here for a good time, but not a long time. Feel me? Yo, yeah, man, real shit. I don't know. This vertical shit, I don't even think I needed, to be honest. Cause it's like a how you explain the vertical? It's like, because you can't go out, right? You can't go out of the vertical, I don't think. Like if you go out, it doesn't keep playing, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Well, I think I'm in two places. Let me see. Yeah. Daniel was popping. So I think I'm on my regular shit and I'm on this vertical thing. Yeah, it won't play. It won't yeah, you can't go out. That's annoying. But I assume I sound pretty good. That's why I got both mics. I'm looking, we got like 20 people in the regular chat, and then we got 17 here. Kasim was popping. Okay, I gotta figure out how to do it correctly. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Serving the Yah was popping. All right, well, so I'm just trying this vertical thing. I think I messed it up. So I think I'm in both places. So I got 17 people on the phone, and then we got 22 people in the regular live stream. That's actually weird. I think that's actually kind of interesting. That'll let you do both on one platform, essentially. But let's see how it works, man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most, man. I just want to bang this out. Pause real quick. My shoulder's straight, bro. It's straight as I guess straight can be. Feel me? In terms of healing, right? I think it's healing on par, on time, but it's trash though. I ain't gonna hold you. It's trash. You know? Yeah. Let me see. So all together, I think it's like 50 people. Okay. All right. So, all right. There's a couple things I want to show y'all first and foremost, man. So we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. And we do so by His Son, Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, which means Jesus the Christ, essentially. So Yahweh Shai would be Jesus's actual name. Yahweh be the name of the Most High. So everything we do, man, we show love, reverence, and respect, essentially. Let me see. Word. Yeah, they say 6 months. All right. So does everybody have a Bible? Put a 1 in the chat if you have a Bible. Salute. Let me see in the chat real quick. Let me get it popping. Bub was popping. D, what up? Jarice in the building. Homeboy, salute. Rock solid was goody. Daniel, salute, salute, salute. Phelps was popping. Aaron in the building. I got Rock already. Melly Mel was popping. Word. Okay. Josh, what up? What up? What up? No Country for Old Sims. Salute. Yeah, get on the laptop. James, salute my G. All right. And I'm still using this vertical thing. So B Sammy, G Goods, Frank White, T Leeds, Fierce, Frank White was goody. Hope all is well, man. All right, so good. You gotta have your Bible. I think it's very important. I'm not gonna share the screen today because I think that makes people a little bit lazy when we going through the topics. So at the very least, you can get a Bible app where you can highlight. So I think I want everybody to do the work themselves so that they have the things to refer and go back to. Feel me? First and foremost, if you have an NIV or NLT, those can be used. I don't like them that much, to be honest with you. I think everybody should have a King James first. And if you need something that's a little bit more simple to read, I recommend the GNT, Good News Translation. It's plain as hell. It uses verbiage that you'll be surprised about. Like, it literally says homosexual. It says bitch. It's very plain spoken and direct. So if you want something that's easier to read, then I recommend that you use the GNT. But otherwise, based on how the translations were compounded or put together, I think the King James originates and how it's put together better than the other ones for sure. So I was explaining this before, but the King James is a translation. If you get the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary, I'll show it to you guys in a second. Do I have it over here? I don't know. So it tells you how each version is kind of put together. And so what you have with the NIT and the NLT or the NIV, those particular versions of the Bible are transliterations. So what that simply means is they'll take the King James along with the Codex Sinaiticus or the Textus Receptus. So they'll look at the Greek and the Hebrew, but then they'll also look at the translation that already exists in English. And then they'll make a translation off of a translation, you see? So the King James is already translated, and then they'll use the King James to say, well, now that I read the Greek and the Hebrew, and now I have this English version, I think it actually means this. But you see how they're predicating their translation off of one that was already translated, right? So that would be a transliteration. So you see how if you play the game of telephone, you can get further away from the message that needs to be conveyed, essentially, right? Night, what up, my brother? Truth to Killer, what up? Cell was goody, my boy. Yeah, Glow was popping. Yeah, it's going okay. So it could be better, right? It could be me in my mind, feel me? Yeah, I do. So the GNT also, here's a GNT here, right? And this GNT has the Apocrypha also. So Aaron, the blue letter is good, but just get you a regular King James Bible app, right? The blue letter is more, let me just pause this, right? Is more meat, right? A lot of us still need milk, So a lot of us still need milk. So when you get in the blue letter and you starting to look at the concordances and such, that is great, right? But a lot of people don't even understand the surface level stuff, right? The surface level things have been perverted for us a little bit, So I just want to make sure we kind of start where we're supposed to start. You feel me? Judah, Shalom, Ak was popping. Salute. All right, so vertical thing ain't terrible, So I just want us to kind of start slow. So just get a regular Bible at King James, maybe with a red letter. I think that will help you in terms of what you read and the things of that nature, Yeah, it doesn't have it. Yeah. So this is a GNT here, and it has the Apocrypha in it. So this one, I think you can find this one on Amazon. This is plain spoken. You definitely need one with the Apocrypha in it. All right. So this one, and I apologize, but get you a regular King James, right? Regular King James. and get one with the tabs, right? So this one allows me to go here and it tells you what book, right? It tells you what the books are. So it has the tab, it'll say Hagar, Zechariah, Malachi, right? You know, and you can just go through and you can get there more quickly until you memorize it, right? We have tools, so use them, you know. Um, so this one here, I like this one a little better. The tabs are bigger here. This is a King James, but you have to insert these tabs yourself, right? So you see the tabs on this one, you have to insert these yourself. And I generally use this one more to if I'm highlighting and things of that nature, right? So this is just a King James, it's purple. And I highlight in this one. So this one will be a little bit more beat up than the one I just showed you. So everyone needs this for sure. Okay, Chris, what up? This is the King James 1611. So this is essentially the first version of the King James. This also has the Apocrypha in it. So the Apocrypha was removed by the Protestants, and namely his name slips my mind. Somebody will say it in the chat. Martin Luther. TBE was popping, right? So Martin Luther removed the Apocrypha. They said it wasn't the words of the Most High. But the thing about it is the Feast of Dedication, when you read the book of Maccabees 1 and 2, the Feast of Dedication, Jesus also celebrated the Feast of Dedication. You know, the Wisdom of Solomon teaches you a whole lot about what happens in the future, even when it comes to Jesus being born, you know? So I think that, you know, there was some agenda there, you know, that happened with the Apocrypha. And I think the reason why, and I'm going to go into this fruits of the Spirit quick, but the reason why I think people are so confused when Paul is talking is because the Apocrypha is missing. You know, the Apocrypha is missing. And so you don't know the history of the Hebrews and, you know, the Jews and what they had to go through, what was outlawed. Like, for instance, it was illegal to call yourself a Jew in Greece and in Greek provinces, right? And so when you read Hosea 4 and 6, you know, my people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge. That's a large part of the reason why. If you remove the information, it'll have you thinking that Paul is talking to every single person in the earth, right? It'll have you almost thinking that Paul is contradicting himself or going against a little bit of what Jesus said because you don't understand his mission. Why? It's not your fault. It's because they removed the history of the Apocrypha from us. And so if we don't have that to refer to, we're going to go off the information that we have, right? So I think that's pretty important. And you can buy an Apocrypha separate. Hold on one second. So obviously you can just buy an Apocrypha separate. So you can get this little red book here. If you already have a King James, no need to get a King James 1611. You can just buy the Apocrypha separate. All right. And all this is on Google and Amazon, you know? So, okay. So let me show y'all this real quick. Dedicated was popping. Miss Jilly, salute. So, all right, let's do this, right? I think I will share it. Yo, Samuel, PJ, Shalom. I'm in a little bit of a time crunch, but I needed to do this for like 2 weeks. So, let's read Galatians 5. Okay. All right. So, the main reference, you know, is Galatians 5. Everybody jump to Galatians 5 real quick, all right? Everybody jump to Galatians 5. I guess I'll share it. Let me share it, at least on this screen. You guys came here, so let's share it. So everybody who's on the vertical live stream, go to Galatians 5. Let's get there. Put a 1 in the chat when you get there together. Let's look at it together, okay? All right. And I apologize. I don't have a bunch of enthusiasm today, but I thought this was important. Okay. First and foremost, right? Paul has to do a job. Okay. So when you're in Galatians 5, he is going to Galatia to get the Jews, the Hebrews, the Israelites that have been broken off. You know, when you read Romans 11, remember, it's branches that have been broken off. You know, and so in order to graft them, like you ever see somebody get like a skin graft, or if somebody like chips the tooth, if you save it in time, you can put it back. You know, you even seen people with fingers, right? They cut the finger off. If you get there in time with the same finger from the same person, you can put it back. Right? You graft it back on. So when people are assuming the grafting part is regarding things that weren't originally a part of the original branch, it doesn't even make sense, right? It doesn't make logical sense. So Paul's objective and mission is to go get these Israelites, these Jews, say, hey, this is who you are. This is who the Christ is from Deuteronomy. Wake up to this. Because the ones that may know, they're still following the law strictly. Remember, it was a whole bunch of Israelites and Jews that didn't think Jesus was the Christ. So Paul has a difficult mission going into Galatia. Like, let me just show you guys this. Sorry, I got one hand. Just so you guys understand that this isn't an important part. So this right here is the book of 2 Maccabees, right? Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So this is the fight that Paul is fighting. So when he's going into Ephesus and Galatia, he's combating this, that because of the tyranny that they were under Alexander the Greek and things of that nature. People get a little bit confused here. Let's read it, okay? So this is Galatians 5 from the top. Everybody, make sure you get there. I'm going slow on purpose, okay? So everybody get to Galatians 5 from the top. Remember, they don't fuck with Jesus, okay? Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that ye be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing. For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Christ is become no effect unto you, whoever of you are justified by the law, ye are fallen from grace. Okay, there's a little bit of confusion here, right? Damn, what the fuck did I do? Hold on. Okay, so when people read this, you'll hear, what's up, Jay? What's up, Oken? What's up, Art? You'll hear people say, see, we're not under the law, right? But Paul, and that's why Peter said Paul can sometimes be hard to understand. Under the whole law, right? Jesus fulfilled. Why can't I? Hold on. Sorry. Sorry, I can't even click on it. I might have to go to a different website. Remember, they don't believe Jesus is the Christ, right? Jesus came to give us grace, right? You have to believe on Jesus that he's the Christ. He came to give us grace. This doesn't make sense because Paul will instantly, if you think that he's saying law is done away with, this will instantly contradict himself when you get to the fruits. So here, let me see. Let me go up here real quick. So now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, which is the law, right? Fornication, Like if you read Leviticus 18, the law, uncleanness, right? Uncleanness is strictly like the law. So what food you can eat and not eat. And then also if you read like Leviticus 13 and jump to verse 30 through 32, blonde hair is unclean. That's all in the law, right? Lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envying, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such alike, of which I tell you before, as I have told you in the time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. So he's looking at 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, right? So we understand that he's not saying that you can just not follow the law, right? Because he's literally naming things that you will not get the kingdom for, that are in the law. So his message is for those people in Galatia specifically, to let them know that, one, they're the true Israelites of the Bible, and two, Jesus is the Christ and he came to give us grace, because we can't keep the whole law perfectly, right? You can't keep the whole law perfectly. But if he was saying the law was done away with, there would be no need for verses 20 through 23, because everything that he named is from the Abrahamic law. Okay, so when we read in it, I just want to make sure that we have the context and the mission that Paul was on specifically. Okay, so when we get to the fruits specifically here, but the fruits of this is verse 22. All right, Galatians 5 verse 22. But the fruits of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. Okay. So there's nothing in the law that speaks against anything in which he named. But here's one part that's pretty important. One, I want you to know what he's referring to, who he's talking to, and how these things manifest. Because how we treat each other, I think we assume that when he's saying all of these things, love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Remember, there's a time and place for everything. And all of this is predicated off of here. Up here in verses, here's what I want right here. So this is verse 13. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty, only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. You guys heard that before, right? Where did you first hear that? Who said that? Do you guys know? It's okay if you don't, but I'm just asking. Do you guys know where this initially comes from? James, salute. What's up, Miss Parker? I responded, Miss Parker, as well. That love thy neighbor as thyself. Do we know the origination of that? Hey, Jody. So let me go here real quick. Oh, sorry. So let me pull this up real quick. Mark. So here's what oftentimes, since we've been taught to read the back of the book first. So here's Mark 12. Let me pull this up real quick. Sorry, I apologize. I'm kind of handicapped. So here's Mark 12 and 29. Okay, Mark 12 and 29. All right, let's read 28. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? And Jesus answered him, the first of all commandments is, hear, O Israel. Right? Hear, O Israel. So it immediately lets you know who he's talking to. Hear, O Israel. The Lord our God is one Lord, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Right. So now, the cool thing about these two commandments is they encompass all the other ones, because we learned before, for this is the love of God, that you keep his commandments, and his commandments aren't grievous. Right? Okay. Sorry, I got mad notifications coming up. But this doesn't actually come from Jesus. He's quoting. But if you read the back of the book first, you probably don't know that. But he's quoting something here. And I think it's very important to understand that loving thy neighbor, how does that manifest? Because I think we see love as a passive thing. But it doesn't actually manifest like that if we wanted to be successful. So, verse 31, and the second is like, namely this, because this goes back to the fruit of the spirits. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, when we go back to Galatians, right? Verse 14, Galatians 5 and 14. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even this. See how you're using the same verbiage? Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So where is this coming from? Jesus said it, then Paul said it. They're using the same verbiage. That's because they're quoting something. Okay, so let's go here real quick. Because we love the fruits of the spirit, but what we try to do is we try to make them manifest how we want them to. Right? So however we think love should be is how it should be. But the Bible is explicit. When you love your neighbor, what happens? How do you treat that person? What do you do or not do? So if you notice here, when he's going love your neighbor as yourself, and then he talks about the fruits and such, notice he's naming carnal things in 19: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, right? Envying, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, right? Because if you love a person, you won't do those things to that person. Often that the love your neighbor, when Jesus says it, when Paul is quoting it here, encompasses all the carnal law, robbing, stealing, killing, things of that nature. So if you love a person, then you won't do that to those people. That's why these can encompass all of the law. When it says love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, because God has a bunch of commandments, not just carnal ones. Right? So Numbers 15, where we have to wear our fringes. Now that helps helps people think about all of the law, because a brother got killed because he was collecting sticks on the Sabbath day when he should have been resting. So let me show y'all this real quick. Here's the origination of these, and this is important. because I think we try to make things how we want them to be, as opposed to how, things are actually done or manifest. So let's go to Leviticus 19. Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord the God, am holy. Right? So he gave the commandments to the Israelites here. So it has a bunch of different things, but we're going to scoot up here to where I want. Okay. So now it's talking about people here. Thou shalt not go up and down. This is verse 16 in Leviticus 19 and 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, talebearer among thy people. So a liar. Neither thou shalt stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. Thou shalt not hate your brother, thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Right? So a couple of things I want to clarify. Seinfeld, salute. East side, what up? So Cali was popping. So you see, I just don't want y'all to be reading Galatians and people thinking, oh, he's saying don't worry about the law. No, he's using the law to make his point. Right? His point is encompassed and raptured in the law. Because he's quite literally quoting the law, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself in verse 18. But look at this love though. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. If I rebuke you for a thing that you're doing, right? So if you're breaking the law and I rebuke you, I'm casting judgment. I'm holding you accountable. And we shy so far away from accountability, but we love the fruits of the spirit. Those things don't coincide. It doesn't make sense. Because we want things that manifest how we want them to manifest. But nobody said that any of those things, like people are nice and not kind. People are kind and not nice. I don't want us to get caught up in nice. I want us to get caught up in productivity. If your brother is doing something that's wild, you gotta say something. You gotta rebuke him. If you want to make manifest the fruits of the spirit. Long suffering is important. Patience is important. You know how many times if you out there street teaching, there's brothers that are doing things that you revile. But open rebuke is important. Fake love, that's not how you get people to change. Let me show you guys a couple verses. Because this is the people that we're dealing with, right? And that's why that verse is so important. Because let me show you this. Oh. Damn. So hold on, baby. Hold on, close the door. Close it. Yeah. Oh, your hair look nice, Bubba. All right, go out. Close the door. But put some clothes on, Chug. Okay. So this is who you're dealing with, right? Because we want to make manifest the fruits of the spirit. Let's make sure we refer to these, right? Because look at the shit that don't align with the fruits of the spirit. Look at all this stuff. But the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against there is no such law. So there's nothing in the law that says you can't do these things. But we have to make sure we do them in righteousness. So let me show y'all this here. This is who you're dealing with. The people that you love, right? This is a rebellious people. This is Isaiah 39-13. This is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. Get you out the way, turn aside out the path, because the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Right? This is the people that we dealing with. So if you notice in the fruits, you got to be patient. Right? You got to be long suffering. AP was goody. Right? You know the word that I need us to understand mostly? Endurance. Endurance. That's what the fruits really get you, right? Even like the meekness. If you notice, if I'm talking about the Bible, now there's oftentimes I'll bring some energy to it 100%, right? If people start to scoff or kind of get on my nerves, to be frank. But oftentimes I'm decently patient. Because people think they know. They come in with an ideology. They refuse to listen. But I'm not surprised by it because this is Isaiah 30. Isaiah 30 is literally right here. It's telling me already. It's telling me already that the people are rebellious. They're lying. They say prophesy deceit. Speak unto us smooth things. So when they come in with all the shit that they come in with, I'm not surprised. I'm not taking it back. I'm like, oh yeah, this you right here. Isaiah 30. So let me slow it down because what I want to make manifest. The fruits of the spirit right here. Okay, tell him to put his clothes on so he can go to the gym. Meekness, temperance. Spirit is love, right? You love your neighbor, you rebuke him. You do not suffer sin upon him. Right? Joy. I'm gracious. You thankful. When they come and don't want to understand, when they don't know, they want to scoff. They want to say it's not real. They want to say don't read the New Testament. I'm at peace. Why? Because I read Isaiah 30 before. I read it before. You see what I'm saying? I know that this is going to happen. Right? I'm pretty calm as a person. Can I just get this out? I can't. I gotta use a different app or something to keep doing it. So all these things make manifest for real. So look at this. Yeah, Kurt, those are good, but I want to go to the Old Testament a little bit more. Hold on. Hold on. So I'm gonna go to Ezekiel chapter 3. So I want y'all to see this, right? This is so important, man. When we make these things manifest, what does it look like? So this is the book of Ezekiel chapter 3. And 18. Right? This is Ezekiel 3, chapter 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require in thine hand. All right. This is Ezekiel 3. I want y'all to highlight. In 18, we too busy walking around talking about do you, carte blanche, to each his own, whatever works. Stop saying that shit. You know? You're wasting your time. Right? Like people come to take away, you know, what people are trying to do quite often. Oftentimes people come try to build on another person's foundation, right? When they can just go and build in their own channels with their own people. You know, so you see that often. So shout out to Phenomenal Hebrew, who's here to not add any value per se. You know, but brothers come out of nowhere, right? And very rarely build on any foundation at all. So, let me read it one more time. Ezekiel 3:18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his hand in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Remember, love thy neighbor as thyself. And what does it say in Leviticus 19? And anywise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. We cannot enable. Okay? Carte blanche is what's destroying the world, is what's destroying the earth, especially our people. Cause we open our minds up to a bunch of bullshit. Cause we don't know who we are. So I need everybody to grab onto this verse here. Let me show you guys this one. So did you guys get Isaiah 30? 9 through, was it 15? Ezekiel 3:18. I want to make sure that we have those. And now remember, you want to make manifest the fruits of the spirit. So you can do all these things without being an asshole. You can do all of these things without being an asshole. Okay? Temperance matters. But if you love your neighbor as yourself, you rebuke them. You don't suffer sin upon them. You don't do bad things to them, but you hold them accountable. That's why the fruits of the spirit are so important. Okay? I just want to make sure that we keep that in mind. It's not about being passive. It's about being righteous and how you move around in the earth when people need edification. We don't want to treat anybody like a child, but this right here, we are children. We don't know as much as we think we know. The problem is people think they know. They're picking up the Bible, which I would liken to a calculus book, and then saying, hey, I know more than you because I read the same thing. I know just as much as you because I read the same thing. I know just as much as you because I spent 20 years in the church. So like, for instance, right, like the brother who's in the chat, we can have a conversation about whatever it is, but instead people cast aspersions, make assertions, and then just tell you you don't know what you're talking about. So if people come to me and they say, well, here's my interpretation, we correct it, right? Proverbs 3:5, 1 Peter 1:1, no scriptures of any private interpretation. And then we ask them to get a couple witnesses, because the Bible can still man itself. We often err on the side of things that we like. But I just want to make sure we understand how the fruits of the spirit actually manifest. Let me show y'all this right here. So this is Proverbs 27:5 and 7. Because remember, what's our premise? The fruits of the spirit. Okay. I know that everybody takes away this delightfulness of them. So I'm just pointing at this side of it and how these things manifest in our lives in real time. So this is Proverbs 27, verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The full soul loatheth and honeycomb, but to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the words of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The full soul loatheth an honeycomb, but the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. Okay? This is how you show love for real. Don't be faking. Don't be fronting. We was on a panel the other day, right? One of my actual friends is in the midst of an argument on the panel. Well, it was a discourse. But that person says something about what they do or not do. But that's my actual friend. So I hit him on the side like, yo, well, remember you did this. They could use that against you in terms of what they're saying you've done. You know? Because you got enemies everywhere. So I'm not going to expose my friend in front of a bunch of enemies. But I have to offer a level of correction too. Because I know that they don't mean that person well. Right? Temperance, meekness, patience. We gotta be calculated how we do these things as well. But remember, open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The full soul loatheth the honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. Look at this. Oh, my bad, Aaron. This is Proverbs 27, 5 through 7. So it's really important that everybody highlight these. And Curtis brought up some dope verses, right? But I just wanted to go a little bit back to some of the Old Testament, so-called, because I know it's not read as often. Bang. So this is Proverbs 27, 5 through 7. We got Ezekiel 3 and 18. We have Isaiah 30, 9 through 15. And all of this is predicated on Leviticus 19. And start at verse 15 and read all the way down to the bottom. 15 and read all the way down to the bottom. After you get all of that information, okay? And then you go back to Galatians 5. Start at verse 13 and read down to the bottom. And then when you get to the fruits of the Spirit in verse 22, you have all the information to thoroughly understand how these things make manifest. Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. Now, moderation is always good, right? So let me show you guys this, because this is important. Because again, even the fruits of the Spirit are misconstrued. Because I think people think those things are passive. That's why I wanted to show you guys where even where they say love your neighbor as yourself, that person isn't passive. You know? So let me show y'all this real quick. So hold on. Okay. So this one here, this is 1 Corinthians 10 and 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things not edify not. Okay. So this is what this means, right? Things may not be breaking the law, but doesn't mean they're good for you, right? So let's say I have a spirit that is gluttonous, like just my energy, my vibe is gluttonous. And so when I get drunk, when I drink, I become a drunkard. I start to do things that cause me to err. Consuming alcohol isn't a sin, but it may not be expedient for me to do so if I lose self-control. Meekness, kindness, long suffering. Those things aren't in itself sin, right? But if you don't do things in moderation, you can be taken advantage of, leaning too far into the fruits of the spirit as well. Right? That's why the temperance is important. Patience, kindness, long suffering. But oftentimes we see people being too patient, too kind, too long suffering, and they get taken advantage of. You see men dying 7 years before their wives. You see men killing their damn selves. You see men, as an example, suffering in silence. Right? So even though you want to exude the fruits of the spirits, be careful, right? Understand who you're doing it with, who you're doing it for. What's your end goal for why you do the things? But keep everything in perspective. That's all. Isaiah, what's goody? Right? Just keep everything in perspective. Feel me? This shit gets shaky real quick. Yeah, James, I think meek and humble, I would liken those things for sure. Yeah, if it helps you clarify the point, yeah, that's what it is. Like, let me show you guys something about Jesus real quick. So if I go to Luke 19. So do owe Jesus some pounds, right? But let me show you guys just how Jesus was, and I might have shown y'all before. So this is Luke 19:20, and it says, and another came saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man. Thou takest up that thou layest not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow. So he's talking about, yeah, Mama. Okay, I'm coming. Let me finish it. I'm coming now. Go. Yeah, I'm coming. So this is what he's saying about Jesus. And another came saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man. Somebody look up austere for us. Thou takest up what thou layest not down, and reapest that is now sow. Right? Jesus don't be playing. This nigga wasn't passive at all. Austere. Some people would say is rude, strict, cold, unforgiving. Right? So when you write the fruits of the spirit, because this all is about Christ, right? And being Christ-like. Remember, one of his main man's name was Simon the Zealot. So here, austere, severe or strict in manner, attitude, or appearance. Severe, stern, strict, harsh, unfeeling, stony, steely, flinty. Right? Temperate. These are synonyms. Self-denying, self-abnegating, moderate, temperate, sober, plain, simple, right? Those get a little bit further away. But here he is. Okay. So make sure y'all have all the verses, okay, that we went through. Because when we want to make manifest the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians 5, understand exactly what that means. It don't mean you're a punk. It don't mean you soft. It don't mean you have to let everything slide. But you come to a lot of things with understanding, right? And grace. And you be at peace when the bullshit come. Because you understand, oh, you Isaiah 30. Duh. Yeah. 2 Peter 3:3 too, right? So I just want to make sure y'all got the verses, man. Ezekiel chapter 3:18, Isaiah 30:9-15. Which other one I did? Proverbs 27:5-7. Okay, all predicated based on Leviticus 19:15 and read down. Mark 12:29, when Jesus said, "Hear, O Israel," the 2 commandments, right? Then you go back and read Galatians 5 because you need to build your foundation. Okay. All right, we got to go to gymnastics, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man. I like this vertical thing. I gotta figure it out though. I think I'm done. All right, y'all be safe. I'm heading to gymnastics. Let's talk about it more later. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we out.